The Ohio-Marshall football rivalry turns 58 games old on Saturday. The Bobcats have the edge in the all-time series with 32 wins, and they took the bulk of the beatings in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. But the boys from Huntington, well, they won in the 90s and the 2000s up until now. Ohio is looking for its fourth straight win in this series. They have won 4 in a row over Marshall before, but not since the bell has been introduced. That came around in 1997, and so this would be a first. In this string, there was a blowout win at Peden Stadium in 2011. The last time in Huntington, it was a 3-point win, as was last year's victory, too, back in Athens. 4 in a row over your rival most certainly is sweet, but it's even more special when you beat a good team. And this Marshall team, probably the best since their heyday of Chad Pennington and Randy Moss and then Byron Leftwich. This team's pretty good. So if Ohio captures the bell, brings it back to Athens, and rings it ferociously, well, it will most certainly deserve it, because this team, they're going to make it tough on Ohio. Should be a good ball game. Let's take a look at the green and white of the Marshall Thundering Herd.
In the last 5+ seasons combined, Marshall has 36 victories. 3 have been bowl wins. 1 was over Ohio and Detroit in 2009. Then in 2011, they won the Beef O'Brady's Bowl over FIU. And then last year's triumph over Maryland in the Military Bowl completed a 10-4 campaign. The expectations are always high in Huntington with the tradition they have, and rightly so. They are very high this season. This is Doc Holliday's 5th season as their head coach, and the Herd is picked to win Conference USA. They have the best player in that league, a player that would be the best in a lot of leagues. Rakeem Cato is in his senior season. The Miami native has amassed 10,704 passing yards as their quarterback, which is 3rd behind Chad Pennington and Byron Leftwich in school history, and he's thrown 96 touchdowns, which is 2nd to Pennington. Somehow, he was a CUSA second-teamer last year after being the Offensive Player of the Year in 2012. He's the quarterback, so he's always a focal point, but when he's that talented, his importance is up. Cato's led the Herd to a 2-0 start to the season, albeit against competition they should beat. Marshall took care of Miami and Oxford 42-27 in Week 1. Cato threw for 3 touchdowns and ran for 1 more. Last week was their home opener, and they roughed up Rhode Island 48-7. Cato threw for 2 scores and ran for another. Every quarterback has a top target, and Tommy Schuler is that guy for Cato. Together, they've connected 226 times for 18 touchdowns and just under 2,500 yards. Schuler has 2 touchdowns this year, as does Eric Cronapple. Devontae Allen has 8 catches for 168 yards and leads the team in both categories. Several backs could run the ball. Devin Johnson has 288 yards and 3 touchdowns this year. Defensively, they have 6 sacks, 20 tackles for loss, and 2 interceptions through the first 2 weeks. 4 players have double-digit tackle totals. On the line, Rashad Myers and James Rouse are 2 All-CUSA performers. Taekwon Lang, A.J. Leggett, and Darrell Roberts anchored their secondary. Through 2 games, they average 578 yards and give up 296. The Herd has a balanced offense with 301 coming on the ground and 276 through the air. They give up just 82 yards rushing per game.
It's a short trip as far as time and distance down to Huntington, so we want to see the right shade of green at Jones C. Edwards Stadium on Saturday. If you can't make it, it's on CBS Sports Network, and of course your boys, Rob Cornelius and me, will have the pregame coverage starting at 11 a.m. with the kick at noon. Hopefully Ohio can capture that bell and ring it, bring it back to Athens one more time, 4 in a row over the Marshall Thundering Herd. Let's hear from that bell, huh? That's our game week preview. This is Bobcat TV.